that these are the predisposing qualities that must already be in place in the universe before love can come into existence. They only come together when Aphrodite is born. That's when they come together. So these two powers come together at the very moment divine beauty occurs into the universe, and that therefore becomes the need to bring them together, a synthesis, a mean analogy, and that mean analogy, as you correctly pointed out, is love. Now, let's see if we can get more into this. Let's take a look at the myth again. So it's only a few lines. So could you read it once more, and I'll tell you exactly where, so we can cut it down a little bit and have a little fun by going into it. What I'm interested in, you see, in this great myth, right? When they had dined, right, it's a banquet, right? Therefore, the banquet is going on. Go ahead, please, just those next two sentences.
When they had dined, poverty came in begging, as might be expected with all that good cheer.
Hey, when the gods are celebrating the birth of divine beauty, who comes in?
Poverty.
Wait a minute. What are all the qualities of poverty? Remember them?
Rough, hard, unshod, homeless, lying on the ground without bedding. Or that's love.
Want, need. You skipped a major one. So.
Well, I didn't get there.
Right? Could you do it?
The qualities are rough, hard, unshod, homeless, lying
See,
holes on the ground.
unshod is a bad translation, right? Without shoes, poverty, right? And need. All of those qualities suggest need. Right?
Sleeping by the doors.
See, no house, right?
Having his mother's
Need.
nature.
Poverty. See the name? Yeah.
Always dwelling with want.
Always dwelling with want. Right? Needs, wants. So a primordial, right, most paramount basic need comes in, right, comes together with plenty, the other extreme. So we want some more qualities of poverty, right? We get them together. And now she's hanging where?
Hanging by the doors.
By the doors. And she can't come in until he passes out. Now look here. Where is this taking place?
Zeus's garden.
In the garden of Zeus. Now, Zeus in Plato and all of the Neoplatonic thinkers and Platonic thinkers, the garden of Zeus is the flowering of Zeus, and Zeus is the same as Nous, which is divine intellect. Therefore, this is a banquet held to celebrate the birth of divine beauty, and it's being held in the flowering, the garden, the flowering of the divine intellect. So we have the birth of a divine goddess of divine beauty, and they're celebrating a great banquet, and then this unfoldment of the nature of love and how love comes into existence takes place in the flowering of the intellect, see, in the flowering of the garden of Zeus, the flowering, magnificent garden of the intellect. Okay, go ahead.
Plenty then got drunk on the nectar.
Right, nectar is the deathless drink. That's what
Deathless
nectar
drink,
means, right? Deathless.
That's the immortal part. Then.
That's the immortal part. Deathless. Immortal. Right. Right. And what does he do? Passes out.
Zeus's part.
Hey, becomes, right?
Heavy and fell asleep.
Well, we call it a sleep. And when in mythology, when the gods go to sleep, right, that's some way of saying that they pass out to the everyday world. And that's often described in a variety of ways. The simplest one is bliss. Right, right. So they're in another world. They're in their own world. Right? That's the drink of immortality, nectar. And at that time, she then obviously has a great desire, need for plenty. At that moment, she then joins him and conceives.
But she lays beside him and conceives love.
Yeah, yes. Are you thinking about the laying beside when you're...
Laying beside instead of joining.
Well, you're suggesting...
See, she makes a plan to have a child, lays
Yes.
by his side and conceives love.
yes, isn't that a good way to do it?
Well, I don't see any active participation on his part. But
That's very important.
yeah.
That's absolutely important. See, the myth cannot make any sense on the human level. A recent study by Alexander Finsky, right? A very great study showed three of his great researchers went out and they found that very few men could bring about conception when they were unconscious. This was a startling discovery. This was a very startling discovery. And the study was hidden because the implications are enormous. Yes, you see, it violates our sense of common sense, that's right. But not on a mythical level. If we're talking about, it's at this moment that something comes to birth. It's at this moment something comes to birth. It's conceived, see? And in this model, there's no space between conception and birth. So, please, watch now. Keep going.
This is why love has become follower and servant of Aphrodite, having been begotten at her birthday party.
See, because he was begotten at the
Birth of
banquet where divine beauty was brought into existence. Now, what does he do? Now, watch the language.
the same time he is by nature a lover busy with beauty.
He's busy with beauty. That's Aphrodite, right? He's busy with beauty. That's his quest. An attendant and servant of beauty. Go ahead. Attends it.
Because Aphrodite is beautiful. Then, since love is the son of plenty and poverty, he gets his fortunes from them.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back into the list.
Now we go back into the myth. Right.
The list. Qualities. Do you want?
Yes, please.
First, he is always poor, and far from being tender and beautiful as most people think. He is hard and rough and unshod and homeless, lying always on the ground without bedding, sleeping by the doors and in the streets in the open air, having his mother's nature, always dwelling with want.
Right. That's the drive in love to pursue Aphrodite. Right. Now, would you agree necessarily with these kinds of qualities? Then what must love be if it can satisfy all those things? Pardon me, what must Aphrodite be to satisfy all of those urges and desires of love? Come on. Hard, rough, sleeping in want, desire, need.
Aphrodite?
Well, for love to have these qualities in the pursuit of Aphrodite, then what must Aphrodite have in order to satisfy those qualities of love?
The opposite.
Must be able to bring about some resolution of those on the highest level. Or the story doesn't fit. So now we can ask the question, why does it follow if he has these qualities? Now we go to the other side, plenty, go ahead.
But from his father, again, he has designs upon beautiful
Hold
and
it.
good things.
Then he must have designs on what's beautiful?
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite. He has designs on Aphrodite, divine beauty.